Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 15th of July. So, starting off with the euro dollar as ever. But the question here is, can we continue at least towards the ECB meeting or even the Fed meeting, continue this push on the euro and the pound, etc., dollar weakness coming through? Looking at this time frame, well, we're at quite not a critical point. We've got the weekly pivot sitting below there, which if it was to roll down, it would just show the chop that the euro really is in, potentially. A push up here and a continuation is certainly possible, and with the, as I said, with the potential ECB meetings, etc., coming up later, I think we could, not this week, we could see a continuation of these moves. So certainly a possibility. Technically, the euro is in a bit of a funnier pattern, and the pound is in a slightly stronger pattern. He says slightly. This made a sort of lower high in between. It's trying to push back up. A roll over here may just suggest a bit of weakness, so we'll have to watch and wait. I say obviously, but I quite like the idea of it coming back towards the weekly pivot, but it needs to give me a sort of a run down, and to be fair, the points in the euro are not great, so I'll probably be looking more so at the pound. Talking of which, the pound had a solid old close on Friday, pushing up there. I did wonder with Thursday's shooting star whether we'd see a rollover. Well, we didn't, and the strength continued, or the weakness continued in the US dollar. I would be more correct to say. Now we've done an ugly bit of price action here, but it's almost a butterfly type price action that we're seeing here in terms of patterns, for pulled down, pulled up again, and it's done a bit of a butterfly price action, which is often a reversal bar, so a reversal price action. Once again, looking at the weekly pivot below, I would be liking if it starts breaking down, maybe below that daily pivot. It's already tested the 50 MA before. It certainly looked at Friday at one stage that key reversal bar it put in there on the hourlies here, that it was going to roll over further. Didn't get very far. Maybe it just shows you how weak the dollar is in some respects, but we'll see. Looking through dollar yen. So in summary, sorry, on the pound there, I would like to see the softer side of things, but on the pound, but not the short side of the pound, but I need to wait for it to set. The dollar yen, well, strength here, no surprises really with what's going on. A bit bitty overall in the daily price action here. It's moved quite nicely away from its 50 MA there after running into that. It may still have further downsides, but it had here, it's put a lower high in, confirmed on this 4-hourly picture. But again, we've got a weekly pivot that may be in play earlier part of the week, and these tend to normally go the earlier part of the week than the later part of the week. We'll see what happens, not always, but overall, where we're sitting at the moment on this hourly picture, well, lower highs, lower lows coming through here, so at the moment it's still in a downward trend. Corrected off the daily pivot through the Asian session there. Well, maybe a tough question, or tough expectations, expecting it to get towards that weekly pivot. A big ask, that's what I was looking for amongst my vocabulary, which is getting forever shorter, it feels, as you get older for some reason. Right, Aussie dollar, well, it too is having a decent push here, showing commodity currencies doing okay again. And well, it's no exception here. Had a good run up through the last part, well, say last week. It's had a good run up. Again, got a weekly pivot below. It's getting close to prior highs there. Can't be playing the downside until it triggers something. So at the moment, it's a long, but I don't really fancy the long side of it. Personally, I think it might be a short-lived, but it could short-lived for a week or so. It may be quite some points. Canadian dollar, Canadian dollar, it seems to have lost a bit of the fears momentum coming out of these move here, going a bit sideward. Any rally back into the weekly pivots, a lot of these moves could give opportunities for further downside, but you saw lower highs, lower lows running through this 60-minute chart. But it is the price action we're seeing here is a bit weaker. It did come back up to that weekly pivot. Well, in the bigger picture, it may just be a lower high coming through, and it could sell off. In this short-term picture, it will have, by the time it's done that, it will be confirming a higher low. So a bit of a mixed bag then, and that's what we're seeing. Is it's a bit of inconclusive times with this sort of news that's coming out at the moment, and waiting for the ECB and the Fed meeting. Okay, futures, S&Ps, let's have a look daily wise first here, and well, just as suggested on Friday, we just see a continuation of these moves. It's slowing up the momentum, the volatility, intraday volatility is still quite slow, but this market is continuing to push to the upside there, and well, no exception today. I already caught the daily pivot, didn't pull back on Friday towards it, but caught it today, and it's at the moment looking quite strong there. So I wouldn't really, my preference on this would be to be buying into retracements if we see them. I mean, okay, some of these levels have already been hit previously, but some of them are now, like the 200 is quite some time away, but weekly pivots below, something significant would have to change to see that being hit at the moment, I think. Some really iffy news. So that's pretty much it for today. News wise, I should say, of course, I haven't mentioned, so just run over that news that's coming out later today. So today we've got Japanese bank holiday, you've got GDP in China, okay, that's already come out, 6.2. US dollar, Empire State Manufacturing Index, and there's an FOMC speaker later at 1:50. Now he's due to speak at London Interbank Offer Rate Transition Briefing. Okay, so that's the LIBOR rates are being phased out in a year or so, and there's a lot of sort of questions in the US at how they're replaced, because they're used significantly, but whether or not people are still selling products that have LIBOR attached, I would not know, but I'm sure that most people are trying to work them out. But it's an important meeting all the same. It's that's due to occur, as I say, at 1:50. It's probably, although there's audience questions, I think, bearing in mind it's regarding LIBOR and not anything else. I think that may have a low impact, although there are audience questions expected. Whether he gets anything on aside of LIBOR, we'll see. Aside of that, it's nothing really until inflation CPI for 11:45 PM for those trading the New Zealand dollar. Have a great day. Bye for now.